Okay, picking up where we left off, we're still on page 145 talking about the image tag and about how you really have to scale these things to make it work. And the scaling is going to be done by some outside piece of software, maybe using Photoshop or something, I don't know. So what happens if you do not provide the width and the height here? What's this going to look like? Is it going to freak out on me? Let's just look. And it looks absolutely identical to the way it was before. So you might be thinking to yourself, wait a minute, you trying to tell me that if I don't provide the width and the height, it'll figure it out on its own? Yeah, but it's not smart. Let me explain. The way the web pages work is they load files simultaneously. They start loading the text part of your web page. And then as they're loading the text part, they go grab, simultaneously as they're loading text, they go grab all the graphics. So if you tell it how big that spot is, it's going to render the page, skip over that amount, and then continue while it goes and gets your image. If you do not provide the size, this is how it works. It starts loading your page, it stops dead cold, and says, well, I can't continue because I don't know how big this thing is. Then it goes to the website, gets the file, loads the file, then picks up rendering the page from that point on. So if you provide the sizes, the width and the height, it actually speeds up the rendering of your page. Cool. So guess what? I'm going to require you to have a width and a height on all of your graphics. Yay! Okay. There's a table, 4.3 on page 145 that lists a lot of the common attributes that you can use for these type of things. I'm a little kind of weirded out because they show you the align and border and H space and V space, and all those are obsolete. And so I'm thinking, why show them to you if you don't want to? I don't want you to use them, so don't look at those. And the author, it almost looks like it, a little parenthetical note at the bottom that says, the following are, ignore the obsolete ones, but it doesn't tell you which ones are obsolete. So it's like, geez. So kind of sort of look at that, but don't go nuts. The next thing we're going to talk about is making an image on a hyperlink. I want to actually, instead of having a hyperlink that says, go here, I want to use an image as a hyperlink. So remember how hyperlinks work? So I'm going to go in here, and I'll tell you what, I'm gonna comment this out. Hey, let me show you a cool trick. You can light up a bunch of these things at once. One of the things you can do. And there's a little button over here that'll comment out all those lines all at once. Doink. Now, and to uncomment them, you just well, I have to light it up again. Then you just undo it. It goes doink. So I'm gonna do that. This is just me showing off. You don't have to know how to do this. It's just that it makes it easy. So doink. All right, cool. I'll comment it out. So oops, I started a tag here. So remember how the A tag works, right? And so the A tag, and there's an href tag that points to where we're going. And I have no idea where we're going. I guess we're going to go to, actually, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to have the href point to an image. Isn't that weird? Instead of having it point to like a web page, an HTML page, we're going to have it point to a PNG page. It's not really a page, is it? It's really just a graphic file. Okay, cool. So here's that. So do I need to do anything in here for okay. Cool. Now the stuff that's inside, which normally would what people call the decoration, the text that shows up inside that's where I put my image. So I'll do an image, and I'm going to do source, and this time I'm going to pick thumbnail. Any thumbnail. And yes, I still have to put the width and the alternate in there. Okay. So the width was 150, if I remember correctly. The height, yikes. Height was 100, if I remember correctly. And I still need the alternate, me feeding my cat. Okay. And need a closing. Sorry, I need a closing tag there. Okay, So now the A tag, just like normal, except it's not going to another page, although it could go to another page. I'm just not in this case. So this is the way that a lot of people show graphics. In other words, don't just give me the thumbnail. See how fast that loaded? I mean, it was like that. And if you want to see the big gargantuan one, make that optional. It's sort of like if you want to see the big one, click here and it will give you the bigger one. Cool? All right. And you can even zoom in and get, you know, all the way. See my goofy little cat? So this is a technique for doing hyperlinks with graphics. Now there is one kind of weird thing about that. You remember how hyperlinks are typically underlined in blue? Right? How am I supposed to know that's a hyperlink? It ain't underlined by blue. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should go in there and put it something blue. Okay? Well, let's try that. Now, probably underline probably wouldn't be the most appropriate thing. But let's go to this image here. And we're going to add a style. Okay. It doesn't really matter where the style is, but let's just throw it in here. And so a style equals, okay. So you remember how we did the border before? Remember that? So I say border, let's do 2px solid blue. All right. Let's fire this thing up again. And now you can kind of sort of tell that this is really a hyperlink. Now, the way I've got it configured now, you know how hyperlinks typically, they change colors when you click on them, right? Well, I don't have that. Later, we're going to make that work. But right now, I don't have that working. I just put a blue border around it so you'd have a fighting chance of noticing that that really was a hyperlink. Cool? All right. Let's continue. Alrighty. So, one more time. To make this work, you basically need multiple sizes of graphics. I mean, I have 3 different size graphics to make this thing work. A thumbnail, a small, and a large one. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to continue. On page 150, they have a thing called a figure tag. In a lot of... all right, now I'm going to go back and I'm going to comment this guy out and uncomment this guy. Okay. All right. So now no hyperlink, and it's the relatively small one. Let's say I wanted to have some text that went like at the bottom, like it was centered or something, and I wanted to be able to have something that said, you know, instead of this alternate text, I want to have some text that was like a caption. Okay. Well, yeah, you can put text in here. You can go in here and say, you know, this is my caption. Yeah, that'll work. But the problem is that this is separate from that. These two things are actually different. In other words, if there was some, like a page break or something like that, there's nothing that keeps these two things together if they got shifted off to the right or to the left. I need something that glues the two of these things together so that the text and the image are always considered part of the same block. All right, so that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to go up to here, and I'm going to create a figure tag. Figure. Doink. And inside the figure is where you put the image. Makes sense, right? And then there's a thing called fig caption. Fig caption. And that's where I put this. Okay. Now, it's not going to look that much different. It's just that now I can like move that thing around the screen to the left or to the right, and both the graphics and the text move with it, which is what I want. It glues the two pieces together, which is what it's supposed to do for a living. Okay, let's try this. And see how it was actually it's a little closer to it. It's kind of lined up on the edge, and cool. So this is now a single block. Just to show you that it's really a single block, let's do something funky. I'm going to go here to figure, and normally you would not style a figure like this, but hey, come on, give me a break. And I'm just going to grab this. Okay. Okay, come on, guys. This is going to look stupid, but you get the point. It didn't work. What did I do wrong? Oh well. It was a dumb idea to begin with. So let's continue. So, again, the point of the figure is to glue the caption to the graphic. Alright, not that bad. Alright. The next thing is a thing called a meter. And a meter is just a graphical way to show a bunch of numbers. That's all. So, for example, let's say I was doing this, and this is going to be your grade. Let me comment it out. I'm still going to have to comment some of this stuff out because this is getting too big. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to put something like you made an 85 on the last quiz. Actually, I probably should do this in a paragraph tag. What do you think? Cool. I could then put a meter in here, and a meter it's going to look kind of cool. So the first thing is what the value is. The value is 85. You probably want to have like a minimum and maximum. So a min would be 0, and the max you can make on a paper is a 100. And then the problem here is, well, let me go ahead and show this. Oh. Huh. Okay. That was a bit weird. I had assumed that Internet Explorer, well, it's going to demonstrate the point that I was trying to make. And that is, if your browser doesn't understand meter at all, well then you can put some text right here where I have the cursor. That's going to be what would show up. It's sort of like, it's called the default or the pass-through or whatever the term would be for if this feature does not exist, use this instead. Okay, so I'm going to say something like 85. Something that will physically show up in that spot if the meter part doesn't work. I'm surprised that the meter doesn't work in this version of Internet Explorer. That is weird. That is weird. Okay. I guess I could go in here and pick another browser and see what that looks like. Yay! So it basically shows you where you are on the scale of 1 to 100. It's just a graphical view of, a number. Yeah, it's got a number, but also it shows you how it fits in. Okay. Weird. All right. So there's another one that's very similar to meter, and it's called the progress bar, and they're essentially the same. It's just that the progress bar is well, let's just do it. So progress bars are, instead of having this one I could have any value. I could have a negative number for the minimum, and the maximum could be 2 million. Well, most likely the progress bar is going to be, you know what I'm talking about. It's going to be like percents. So I'm going to have a progress, and I'm going to have a value in here, right? It's going to be kind of sort of the same. Let's just go ahead and put like, I don't know, I guess probably should make it a little different. Actually, let me go ahead and just do 0.85. This is probably not going to work in Internet Explorer anyway, so I'll have to go to Google. Okay. So yeah, it kind of sort of looks the same, but I'll explain it in a little bit more detail in just a second.